why Omarion will never get married. Omarion has provided some insight into his interpersonal connections, and he has acknowledged that there is pressure associated with dating him and that a single lady may not be able to manage it. Omarion spoke up about many aspects of his life, including his work and romantic life, during an interview on Shannon Sharp's podcast, Club Shay Shay. During the course of the discussion, the singer was questioned on how he is able to locate his ideal partner, to which he said that his ideal partner typically finds him. In addition to this, Omarion mentioned that he does not have a traditional outlook on dating and relationships, which means that he may need more than one lady to fulfill his needs. If I really thought about my lifestyle and being with me, like the pressure of being with me, and it just being one woman, I don't know if that exists, he added. If I really thought about my lifestyle and being with me, like the pressure of being with me, and it just being one woman. In addition to this, he said, I might need her to be a businesswoman on Monday, and then we might get freaky on Tuesday. The singer claims that he has experimented with monogamous relationships in the past, but that it did not work out for him. On the other hand, he did mention that it is possible to find someone that makes you feel like you don't want to be with anyone else, but that such a person is rare, particularly in his line of work. Despite this, the singer said that he was still open to love. Omarion has been the definition of busy and unbothered ever since his highly publicized breakup with April Jones, the mother of his two children. The singer still has faith that he'll find someone wonderful, but he guaranteed that we will never see him down at the courthouse. I'm just not traditional, and I don't get into that idea that marriage should be a commercial transaction. To put in a lot of effort and then divide the reward with another person is not really useful to someone like me. You can take yours and I'll give you the permission to have mine, and then we can work together to make something. That has my unequivocal support. But when it comes to marriage, I'm not sure. According to Omarion, even though he believes that he is a trustworthy friend who always keeps his word, those words will never be, I do. The headliner of the Millennium Tour also acknowledged that despite the fact that his direct messages, DMs, are available, it would be some time before he is ready to commit to solely dating one woman. People frequently question me about my dating life. Is it possible for me to date? I really have no idea. It's possible that I could form a connection with someone. I'm able to construct with any person, but it is going to take some time. When we are both in a process of discovery, there is no reason to label it or attach any expectations to it. In more relevant news, Omarion was contacted by the All Be Okay network about the possibility of creating a television series titled Involved that will be based on his life. According to a story that was published in April by Deadline, the streaming service All Be Okay, which is owned by AMC Networks, has placed an order for the scripted drama Involved, which is inspired by the singer's life. The ex-member of B2K, who is known by his real name, Omari Ishmael Granberry, will not only star in the series, but also co-create it and executive produce it. According to the synopsis for the series, Involved follows Obi Sharp, who has had a successful career as a member of boy bands since he was a youngster. Now that the band is on the verge of embarking on a global tour, he has been harboring a covert desire to quit in order to be a more present father and to have a more amicable co-parenting relationship with the mother of his kid, who now resides in his guest house with her new partner. In the meantime, he is also balancing his efforts to keep his relationship with his closest friend, Maya. Although they do not share a physical connection, their friendship is quite tight. All of that, however, shifts as they make friends with Eddie, a free-spirited woman who owns a flower store. As Obi's romantic life undergoes a radical transformation, the two of them work together to figure out their new normal as a couple. After going through a number of shifts in a very short amount of time, Obi Sharp needs to figure out how to adapt to new norms inside himself, as well as within the dynamics of his relationships and his professional activities. There was also a time Omarion delivered the news to a fan that she had been catfished the entire time, despite the fact that she felt they were in a full-blown relationship and on the path to getting married. She claims that she was instructed to pay $3,000 for a meet and greet opportunity. The subject was discussed in a recent episode of Dr. Phil, and the story centered on a lady called Simone, who thought that the singer of Post to Be was dedicated to her. Simone was under the notion that the singer was in a relationship with her. It is mentioned in the description of the episode that Rachel, a friend of Simone's, contacted the program 4 times in an effort to get to the bottom of the situation because she was convinced that her friend was being scammed by someone online. More information, such as how Simone was informed that she needed to pay $3,000 to Omarion's manager in order to have a meet and greet with Omarion, simply added gasoline to the flames. Simone further mentioned that despite the fact that she believed that Omarion asked her to marry him last year, she did not have a ring to symbolize the engagement. Nevertheless, she mentioned that she talks to him every day. After Dr. Phil admitted that the scenario doesn't sound logical, he referred to Omarion's manager, Michelle LaFleur, for further explanation. Michelle, a member of the crowd, vouches for the fact that Omarion and Simone are not romantically involved. Shortly after that, a video of Omarion addressing Simone and the entire issue begins to play, and he admits that con artists try to convince and manipulate their victims. The following is what Omarion has to say to Simone. "I'm really sorry. I haven't been corresponding with you online, and there is no romantic connection between us." He went on to say that not one single cent of Simone's money was actually sent to him, and he took this occasion to make a public service announcement warning people about the perils of engaging in online relationships with those who catfish others. Simone showed no emotion as she thanked Dr. Phil for bringing light on the reality in reaction to the news that was revealed. The swift demise of the romance that developed between Love and Hip Hop Hollywood actors April Jones and Lil Fizz has led some viewers of the program to refer to the event as an example of karma. Many people thought that the reason the two were dating was to get back at singer Omarion, who was Jones's ex-boyfriend and the father of her 2 children. Omarion was also Fizz's former bandmate and buddy. Omarion did not comment on a public display of Jones and Fizz's relationship while it was being broadcast throughout the internet. With the exception of an interview in which he pushed Jones and Fizz to change the narrative to exclude him, he claimed that he had no ill will toward either Jones or Fizz and refused to publicly badmouth them. However, there was one interview in which he encouraged the duo to change the narrative to exclude him. Fans thought that Omarion had reached a level of maturity that deserved praise, and they were right. Omarion recently gave an interview in which he discussed why he chose to take the high road in the midst of a very nasty circumstance, as well as why his relationship with Jones came to an end. In the first 2 seasons of Love and Hip Hop, Hollywood featured in-depth coverage of Omarion and Jones's romantic connection. At the end of the first season, they became parents to a son whom they called Mega. The show focused on Omarion's efforts to make a solo return, while also following his and Keisha's efforts to maintain a healthy relationship. The friction that existed between Omarion's mother and Jones was one of the concerns that surfaced, along with the fact that Jones felt constrained in her role as a mother and partner with no job outlet. They came to the conclusion that leaving the program would allow them to better focus on their professions and families. Shortly after they quit the program, the couple welcomed their daughter Amy into the world. Their decision to dissolve their relationship caught many people off guard, but both parties were adamant that they would continue to get along and be good co-parents. The power dynamics in their relationship shifted at some time, leading to a dispute over custody and the amount of child support to be paid. Jones further said that Omarion had provided for his mother financially at the expense of his own children, while spending the majority of his income. When Jones and Fizz started dating, things got even worse than they already were. By returning to the Love and Hip Hop ensemble, they gave fans a glimpse into their blossoming romance. Although Jones had never discussed any private aspects of the breakup between her and Omarion, it was obvious from her behavior after the fact that she was distressed by the event. Jones said on an episode of Love and Hip Hop that following the split, she struggled mightily with clinical depression. Jones further said that Omarion did not provide an explanation to her regarding the dissolution of their relationship. Instead, she asserts that Omarion left his family 2 months after their daughter was born, which is when she gave birth to her daughter. Omarion also discussed the reason he chose not to speak out about the romantic relationship that exists between Jones and Fizz. He claimed that he didn't want his children to ever see him as a participant in anything as dramatic as that. During Omarion's green room interviews, Hollywood Unlocked broadcasted a videotape of the man explaining the situation. Do you think Omarion would eventually find a woman? Or do you think he will remain single forever? Stay tuned for more amazing content on True Celebrity Stories.